Hey guys, welcome back. Special edition episode. Happy Friday. We got a little bit of I got a backlog of very important information. None of it's coming from Pokemon, but it's all stuff that needs to be, I guess, discussed, stuff that needs to be considered. You got to look at sports, you got to look at other TCGs to really know what's going on with Pokemon, to see, to contrast and compare what's going on, what could happen, what are the bad things that could happen, and what do we want to be on the lookout for. There are many things that you can learn. No, you don't need to be an expert on football cards or soccer, depending on where you're from. But we have 3 examples here today that I think are important, even though they're not to do with Pokemon, which most of you guys are probably watching the channel for. We got a sports whatnot oopsie doopsie scammerini. We're going to see what's going on there. We're going to ask whatnot the hard questions. What are they going to do about it? How are they going to fix this for the customer? Are they going to fix it for the customer? We have a trend over there at Whatnot of not fixing it for all the customers. I'm still waiting on some Blake refunds that never happened, that they said happened. Then they asked people to submit stuff. Regardless, hey, Whatnot, you still owe people for the Blake scams that were on your platform that you heavily promoted. Now, next up, we got 3 topics today. It's going to be a little bit of a slugfest. We're going to get our way through it. We got WotC basically screwing over players and stores on the old Magic the Gathering end. For anyone that isn't familiar, Wizards of the Coast used to be in charge of the Pokemon trading card game in the West, so it's a little bit interesting. Again, there are differences. We'll discuss them, but in the end, we're going to look at some stuff that is, my God, I hope it doesn't come to Pokemon. I hope it does not come to Pokemon. And then last but not least, we got some stolen art. We saw some stolen art. We saw some AI art. We saw some AI stolen art, some art that was stolen using AI in the old illustration contest. So we're going to see what happens, what has happened in other realms, other trading card games. Magic in particular. So first up here, we have Soccer Cards HQ posting this bad boy of a card. It says, if you see this Lamine Yamal Select FIFA 1/1, please let me know. A Whatnot breaker hit it and refunding everyone in the break and shut down his account. Let's hope Whatnot comes through and makes it right. My hopes are not high. I don't believe that they're going to do so. I do believe if Whatnot wanted to do the right thing, and yes, it's not only Pokemon collectors that are getting absolutely shafted by purchasing on Whatnot here, and no, they shouldn't be refunded just the price that they paid for the pack, because like what is the point? This is like the biggest of big scams, because you have somebody that's paying money for the pack because there is an expectation that there's a chance to get something big, but when you get something big, when the breaker pulls something big and they're pooping their pants because they're so excited about it, we're going to watch the video here in a minute, they can just delete their account and keep your card. So if you see this floating around, it's a 1/1, so it should be pretty easy to spot on the market if he does decide that he's going to sell it. Some charges need to be pressed here because he's essentially stealing a very valuable card. Some people mentioned that it might be 6 figures. I don't know what the price of this is. I'm not in that market. I don't study that market, and it's a 1/1, so it's hard to really put a price on it. Regardless, it's a very expensive card, expensive enough that this person who is probably going around saying, I'm one of the good sellers on Whatnot. Yeah, you put some money in front of them, you put a really expensive card in front of them, and all of a sudden, they delete their account. Now, that's a huge issue. Whatnot should refund what is the fair market price of this card, and they should be pursuing this individual who sold on their platform and stole from their customer. That's Whatnot's customer. It's Whatnot's responsibility. If you think it's not, then you're joking yourself. And Whatnot's going to pretend that it's not, because that's a pretty hefty price tag. And yes, it will take time, effort, lawyers maybe, even to retrieve those funds. So now, we have Dave here who posted this bad boy of a clip. So the account doesn't exist anymore. Again, Whatnot, why the fuck do you let people delete their account, delete their videos, delete their VODs when they're selling customer stuff? And do you see why they delete stuff? Good thing the internet exists. Good thing people have an eye on this. Good people taking videos of this shit. You have to record all the... You basically need to be recording the whole time you're on Whatnot to make sure that you don't get scammed and that they don't hide the video footage. Or I guess if you're making purchases, you can also go in there and retrieve it, but I don't think you can if they delete their entire account. Now, whether or not Whatnot deleted his account, he deleted his account, I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows. It should show on there, though. That's pretty important information. Again, if you're going to have people selling on your platform, you need to be 100% responsible for them. If they fuck the customer, it's the same thing if you had a corner store and the dude that's working for you is shortchanging everyone, is charging them for an extra Gatorade every time they come in and buy some stuff, and then pocketing that money. Like, it's your responsibility. You got to look after your minions. Now, let's watch this video. Pretty disgusting stuff. Again, everyone, all these G ballers that are, oh, I'm one of the good whatnot sellers. I would never screw anyone over. There's a lot of people with, if you put enough money in front of their face, their actions change pretty quickly. We've seen it time and time again, but here it is. Here's the video. Here's the crook in action.
Agora Bastoni. Lautaro Martinez. Castello. Okay. Let me take the last one out. That's a black one. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yo. Hold up. Yo. Hold up. Let me sleeve this Yamaha real quick. Let me sleeve this shit real quick. Hold up. Holy shit.
So yeah, that is not the first and not the last time that we're going to see somebody delete their account. They pull something big, they decide they want to keep it rather than sending it to the customer. They refund everything because the purchase price of that pack is nowhere close to what the value of the card is. Whoopsie doopsie, and then what? The customer gets fucked. Again, my faith in whatnot, doing the right thing, fixing things. When they had something as big as Blake, when they didn't refund everyone for Blake, rigged gambling all over the fucking place, clip after clip of them pulling the same shit, and that's only what we could retrieve. Everything else that was hidden, that was deleted, that was in back files, back alleys, back buttholes, we can't see that. Whatnot can. Whatnot has access to all of that stuff. They knew what was going on. Again, his buddy Craig and some of the G ballers, the Blakers didn't even get banned from the platform. So absolutely ridiculous, and that's why we have 82 videos worth of Whatnot scams, and we're going to continue to cover that. There's some of them got removed, so if you're looking for those, join the Discord. I'll have to update the deleted from YouTube videos. You can watch them somewhere else if they are available, usually on the old Twitter. Now, Linktree. Thank you guys for using the Linktree. You guys are the absolute best. You guys have been knocking it out of the park using the old Rattle 5 on Troll and Toad. Save yourself 5%, and it helps support the channel, helps support those big openings that we do on release day, card market. Shop there if you're from Europe, and if you're not from Europe, get a friend in Europe and get them to shop there for you. We got all kinds of discount codes. Save yourself some money while supporting the channel. Rather than send me money in a super chat or whatever, go ahead and buy yourself something nice and support the channel at the same time. All stuff that I heavily recommend. And then down here, if you want to go above and beyond, this doesn't give you a discount. All it does is if you click on there before you're shopping for the things you need anyway, from your like TCG player, your Amazon, Target, Walmart, all of that fun stuff, it will give a kickback to the channel here. It is the best way to support the channel. It costs you nothing extra other than a couple seconds of time. Now, topic number 2, we have Commander banned and restricted announcement. So, if for anyone that isn't familiar, Magic's values, I mean, there is like a chase value to certain cards. Certain versions of cards, similar to Pokemon, where like the fancy version, the SIR version of an EX, for example, is going to be much more expensive. Now, Magic goes above and beyond. They have so many different versions, so many fancy versions, so many chase versions, and they kind of overdo it with the chase. They've done the one-of-one bring, and there's a lot of other serialized crap. I really hope Pokemon never does serialized cards. It's stupid. I think it's a crutch. I think it shows that you're just trying to milk money out of something. It's just a way of adding rarity that doesn't really exist. Like, you're just adding rarity for the sake of rarity. It's not like a cool version. It's above and beyond. It's greedy. It's corporate crap that's gonna be pumped out. It's hard enough to complete sets as it is. We do not need anything more difficult to complete. When you can open 5 cases of something and still be missing cards, I think it's already pretty daunting for anyone that is on a budget and trying to collect entire sets. Or looking for specific cards. I think we're in a good spot now. I think they can't extend that any further than that without kind of doing damage or kind of looking greedy and looking it at a certain point it's detrimental. Now, in Magic, a large portion of this stuff is it's valuable. Secondary market, they pretend the secondary market doesn't exist. So they all of a sudden they'll get a product, and the chase cards in that product are a reprint of something that got expensive, that is being used in a lot of decks. They'll put a new fancy version of that thing out, and then whoop-de-doo. What did they do here? So there's a different format that was kind of fan created, not really created by the company themselves, like Wizards themselves. There was this board of people who created this format called Commander. And there were some very playable, very expensive, crazy cards in that. Now, this board of directors or commander dudes and gals, they decided, hey, whoop-de-doo, let's get rid of these cards. Now, the problem with this is the fact that Magic just printed versions of these, some of them worth several $1,000s. If you all of a sudden just remove playability altogether, you can't play them in your deck anymore. They're banned. They're a banned card. The value of those is just going to absolutely tank. So if you have people that are spending $1,000 on a card, and then the next day, overnight, someone decides you can't play it anymore, it's not worth anything. Well, it's still worth something, but the value of it absolutely going to plummet. And yes, this is bad for people that are just have the decks built. Maybe they want to bling out their deck. Maybe they put that $1,000 card in their deck. Overnight, gone. It's a fraction of that. You just delete money. So like a lot of this stuff, even on TCG Player, is showing that like the value of this stuff is halved. So you got to think of the players that maybe they have these things. Maybe they have these cards. They have several copies of these cards in their decks. Maybe they have one in each deck. Maybe they have like 10 of them. Maybe they have 10 of these cards. You're just deleting their money. Like hard-earned money that they either spend on the singles, they spend on product to open these things and put in their deck, and she gone. Just absolutely deleted. Not to mention the fact that if you have a store, where the hell is all that money gone? It's just gone. Like, you're just taking a giant loss. Maybe you bought something the day before, you bought it for buy list, you bought it at a fraction, but now it's sunk like immediately. And then you get into the whole issue with the fact that Magic was printing this stuff up until like very recently. They were printing premium versions of this stuff before the ban. So like they should have known. I'm sure they were in contact with the commander people. And were they trying to get a last little like milk out of this? Did they know what was coming? I would find it hard to believe that they didn't know that the bans were coming on this stuff. Regardless, they're now using the excuse that like they're receiving threats, that people are getting out of control, people are losing their minds, and now the Wizards of the Coast has to make the ban list and make all the decisions related to Commander. So I don't know, it smells a little fishy. Not to mention the fact that like when you have the power to ban stuff like that, to remove a card like that, there's some serious market manipulation that can happen, similar to the CGC buying up all the 9.5s before they all of a sudden can turn into 10s like a month in advance, specifically chasing after that stuff. So you get some grease balls that are going to do some grease ball type activities. Anyone that's in the know is going to take advantage of anyone that doesn't know. And no, I don't think that's fair. I think if there's predictions that can be made, if there's internal information like that gets leaked out and somebody exploits it, it's not good. That's insider trading, and when with cardboard. Now you can see here, we're gonna just take a look through. We got the old Anoxide Extortionist, and my God, is he dropping? Some of these cards you're not gonna see a bigger, like a giant drop, mostly because it just the sell-through rate might be small. Maybe some of these haven't sold recently. You can see some are bouncing back a little bit, which could be just people thinking that it's too cheap. Maybe they're hoping that it gets unbanned. Maybe they, who knows exactly. But Jeweled Lotus here, this is a bad one. We got a little Bouncerino. And again, it's just like some of these versions are so rare that you might not see enough sales data exactly to. So what do we got here? We got $300. It was all the way up at like $600 at one point in time. $300. It went from like $520 to $300 pretty much instantly here. Once people get wind of that, they're going to want to unload those bad boys. I mean, if they got wind of it beforehand, it's just all around bad. Like this people are rightfully pissed off. Like no one should be threatening violence or anything of that sort, and they're probably going to exaggerate that and use that as the excuse. But like who thought this was a good idea? Like you can't do that. There needed to be some discussion beforehand. It's just like, hey guys, there's like $1,000 cards. If we nuke those overnight, we're gonna fuck a lot of people. And I don't know if that came up, if that was a topic. Again, like there's some of the stuff that is just there's no sales data on it whatsoever. Some of it is like special versions. Then we get into the mana crypts, which are those are some pricey boys. Some of them no data on it. Some of them lots of data on it. This one here, Judge promos, you can see it's already dropped like hell. Eternal Masters here dropped like hell. And then we get into these guys here, and I think this largely has to do with the fact that not many have sold. But when you're getting into like $500 cards, you're getting into like $400 cards here. If you're taking hits on like how many copies does someone have? Does someone have one of each? Maybe somebody wanted to collect one of each. We see some drops there, and then it only gets more expensive. It's like $650 card that just is no longer playable. And in Pokemon, yes, there is there's a premium on the playable stuff for sure, but not even close to the same way that there is in Magic. And in Magic, it sort of retains that, especially with the Commander format, where you can kind of use older cards that aren't necessarily in Standard. What's this guy at? We got only one listing for this one, $15,000. It looks like they have sold on the low for $3,000 and on the high for $3,600. This one's graded pristine 10. So like you have like a $3,000, $4,000 card, and maybe it's half that. Does anyone even want to spend half of that if it's not available, if it's not available for play anymore? Like for the sake of collectors, and the collector base is much smaller in Magic than it is in Pokemon. So we got the bird. Finish off with the bird here. He's a $3 bird now, I guess. $1 bird, $2 bird. So what they're doing is they're banning stuff that they think was overpowered, but again, at the same time, that's something that kind of should be discussed, should have been known prior to. There's also the fact that there's Jeweled Lotus is like a Commander specific card. So like Wizards of the Coast is going to be like, oh, we didn't have anything to do with Commander, but then they're printing like premium versions of this thing. And then also it's like it's clearly designed for, you can only use it to cast your Commander, which is only in Commander. So it's not a good time. People got screwed. Poor decisions were made. If they were gonna, I don't know how they fix that. They're talking about making like separate legalities, separate places, or like tiers, I guess, for the decks themselves. Now, last topic before we get going, before we head into the weekend, we have AI art that we saw being used for the illustration contest in Pokemon. We saw art that was stolen. We had the Vaporeon there that was kind of sniped from someone's artwork, whether that was AI that did that or whether that was the person kind of used that image and told AI to put it where it needed to put it. I'm not really sure. But regardless, what an absolute mess. We had a lot of people upset, rightfully so, that the top spots were being taken up by AI art that should have been checked. We had somebody that had too many submissions. They had more submissions that got into the top, I think it was the top 100, than they were allowed to even submit whatsoever. So God knows how many they actually had. The names were very similar. It was like a pretty big blunder on the part of Pokemon. It should have been very specific. It should have been very detailed that you can't steal art and you can't. Well, I mean, there was that you can't use anyone else's art, but they should have been more specific with like, hey, you can't use AI for this. This is a self-produced artwork only kind of competition. And that leads us into something that I've been looking to talk about for a while on the channel here. We have the Magic the Gathering artwork here, Trouble in Pairs, art by Faye Dalton, stolen from fellow MTG Donato Giancola. My apologies if I butchered that name, but we have Trouble in Pairs here, and you can see that the artwork side by side is looking a little similar. And yes, people are going to use things for a reference, as a reference to create their own artwork. I'm sure they're going to look up poses or something to give them some sort of inspiration. But this one's a little too close for comfort. It's a little bit copy paste, and so people were outraged. And there was some trouble to be had. There was some drama to be had because, I mean, pretty fair that artists don't want other people just like copying their artwork. Being inspired by it, stylistic techniques, and or character or something like that. Maybe a little bit of a different story than kind of just a, make the ears pointy. And there's another example down below that we'll take a look at where the ear pointy thing kind of comes up. We have the artist here. We have, hey, Faye Dalton, do you mind not stealing my work on highly paid public commercial commissions in the genre which I make my living and hold my reputation dear? This is criminal and theft. Yeah, I think this is not fair. It's a bad taste. Then we have Faye Dalton is a relatively new artist in Magic the Gathering, having done a few secret layers and some cards in Murders at Karlov Manor. Commander cards. What else we got here? Past precedence has shown that although Wizards will likely stop collaboration with the artist, the card will not see a reprint with the same art and could even be replaced in the digital versions. The card is not available in Magic the Gathering Arena, as it is from a Commander product. So there you have it. I hope they put Commander into Arena. That would be sick. I would play the living hell out of that. Please do. Other examples, there have been other previous examples of plagiarized art. We got the Wayfarer's Bauble here. I don't know what that was stolen from. On November 19th, 2023, artist Lorenzo Lanfranconi compared one of their paintings and the card side by side to show how the background of the art has been used on the card art. So here we get a little bit of a copy pasta with the staircase there. And do you think in this day and age, 2023, 2024, that like the internet is going to find out if you copied somebody's artwork, especially if you didn't give them permission, even if it's a loose copy, even if it's like, they're going to find it. They're going to know. The internet always knows. Wizards Magic, just want to let you know, one of your artists stole one of my paintings to paste it as it is in the background of their illustration. I don't even want to know the reason behind this. It's so stupid that deserves a prize. So different story if they collaborate, if they reach out to them, if they have permission, obviously, to do that. I don't think there should be any issues. Like if somebody's really good at creating the characters themselves, and somebody else is really good at doing the background, but clearly they need to be compensated for that time and effort and work that they put in there. And yes, they did make changes, but if you're gonna copy homework, you gotta do more than change a couple of your multiple choice. Response from David. Not long after, David released a statement on social media and claimed to have reached out to the original artist and Wizards of the Coast to settle the matter. So here we go. Accountability is a thing we as a studio stand for, and I screwed up badly. So here's the oopsie doopsie. Sorry, I screwed up. I shouldn't have copied your shit. Statement from Wizards of the Coast. Then the aftermath is update. Me and this artist have already clarified this thing privately. Dang, we got all kinds of stuff. And then we get the Nissa here from the is essentially this. I think this is more cool than anything else, but I can see how somebody might be upset with it if they don't have permission for it. If somebody took a photo, even though it's a photo and it's not really a piece of artwork, if it's inspired and it's kind of a little bit too close, I think it's cool. I think it would be really cool if you were somebody of celebrity status, the woman from Die Antwoord, Yolandi, if somebody made like a magic card of you, like turned you into one of the planeswalkers, I think that would be pretty badass. Post Malone would probably not be upset about this. I don't know if she actually was upset about it, but it's cool. This is like a cool Easter egg kind of thing. I think more than anything, but I'm sure the person that took this photo or the person themselves might be upset if they were being used for that. So those are the topics that I had to get off my chest. Those are very interesting things that have been happening in other cardboard that I think are important for Pokemon collectors to know. But I think we have it pretty good over there. I mean, not on Whatnot. Whatnot is just fucking everyone. Whatnot sellers are fucking everyone. Yes, there are select individuals that are good, select individuals that have not ripped people off yet. So it's not a blanket all, but it's more to do with the Whatnot end of things. Them not vetting sellers, them not doing some kind of background check, criminal background check, or requiring any sort of basically anything to sell on the platform, them soaking up fees and them not immediately correcting the actions of others to make it right for the customer, because it's their customer at the end of the day, and they're essentially employees. You have employees on there, whether you want to call them employees or not, whether it's a loophole, you can call them their own separate employee, and you're just a platform and you want to remove yourself from it. You're responsible. Fuck off, Whatnot. Fix this shit for people. Clean up your platform, and I'll be the first to praise you once you do. But until then, I'm going to keep showing people what they need to see, keep advising people that they shouldn't be buying stuff on there, because even in the best case scenario, you pull something super awesome, you overpay for your pack for some greaseball to open it for you. He gets the best of the best thing, and he deletes his account and runs off with your card. So that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining the Discord. We'll be in there on the old Saturday happy hour chat. If you want to come hang out, make sure you do. If you want to open your own cards in there, feel free to do so. You can turn your webcam on. You can put the overhead webcam on your desk, open your cards, and we'll hang out with you while you do it. If you want company, if that's the community thing that you want. I'm rambling here. All right. See you next time. Bye.